Hi everyone, happy Monday. My last day in London. I'm headed back to Brooklyn tomorrow. I'll be on CNBC Fast Money tomorrow night with Brian Sullivan. Sure, that'll give us plenty of opportunities to make sausage jokes. Last time I saw him, we were in Vienna at the OPEC meeting and he bought me a sausage and he was making a lot of sausage jokes. I guess we won't go there too much, especially not about the cheese-filled bit. Actually, it was the most delicious sausage I ever had in my life. Anyway, that's beside the point. The week outlook this week is lots of earnings. Everyone's looking for the market to rally here. It's partly a technical argument because we've kind of found a floor. One of the arguments I've seen is that earnings estimates haven't come down anything like as much as the market, which anyone who's been covering the market for any time knows all that means is that earnings estimates have a lot more to come down. But when you look at who's reporting here, a couple of guys probably won't take bomb. I'm thinking Tesla, I'm thinking Netflix. Netflix certainly has already bombed the tape this year a lot, the point being that they can't really probably bomb it a whole lot more. I mean, they could, but it would be, I don't know quite how they could because they've already bombed it about as much as they could. And of course, as you know, Tesla guides on its deliveries and stuff. So on the oil side as well, there won't be anything too dramatic from Baker Hughes and Schlumberger. They'll do what they do every quarter, which is to have pretty ordinary earnings and say the outlook is outstanding. They've been doing that every quarter as far as I can tell for the last 10 years. There's a couple of other bits and bobs in oil, but essentially it's just those two big service companies that are going to be reporting. Dow is another good example of a company where essentially the guidance is out there, and chemicals is the real problem at the moment, which is a very bad sign economically. But you know, it is what it is. Chemicals earnings are poor, and that'll feed through to Chevron and Exxon particularly. But those guys are making a ton of money in refining, and I had drinks yesterday with the CFO of PBF, who, as we know from public information, is enjoying outstanding margins, particularly in California, but also in the Mid-Con, where the issues of BP, for example, the accident at Toledo and the downtime at Whiting, will massively boost earnings, for example, at PBF's Toledo. That's just, you know, publicly available information in terms of what margins are doing. And by the same token, California, etc., are very strong. We are a bit worried about export ban threats, but we think it's all words. We'll see. I mean, it would be a complete mess to oil markets if they try and interfere with exports. It's a very, very bad idea, and the US should be a leader in free market economics. These sort of government interventions are boneheaded, as we've seen here in the UK. That was the other reason why the market can rally this week. Essentially, the UK's got a new chancellor who's completely reversed pretty much everything that the previous chancellor had done, and so you can see the market rallying on the back of stabilization at best in the UK, but at least not total collapsing disarray. One thing that to mention about the Mid-Con and where things may be very problematic is actually in Canadian crude discounts, which are enormous. You're over $30 a barrel under WTI discounted. Makes Urals look like an expensive crude. That's because not only the refining problems in the Mid-Con, but also the levels of the Mississippi are extremely low. I mean, the Mississippi is meant to flood. It's actually almost drying up, and that's a problem for moving oil products, which causes issues, oil in general, and of course many other things that are hugely important to the US economy. So watch for that one. It's a problem, and I've published yesterday the levels of the Mississippi, which are very available. You just Google them and you can see where we're at. One final thing is just, you know, following the situation in Iran, where there's an oil strike, which brings back memories very much of the '79 revolution. And yesterday's note was talking about the importance of 1979 in global history. You had the Pope John II, you had Margaret Thatcher, you had Deng Xiaoping in China, and you had Ayatollah Khomeini all come to power, as well as the Russian invasion of Afghanistan, and a year later Ronald Reagan coming to power in the US. I'm just saying, I wonder whether 22 and particularly 2023 we could see a similar rotation of global power in that way. And just you know, be aware that you're living through momentous history at the moment, and stay strong. All right, have a great week.